Is it just me, or was that ending with Frieza just badass as fuck? I ain't gonna lie. I was watching the episode, and the episode was a lot of setup and stuff like that, and getting more of those gods of destruction trying to get their shit off and whatnot. But like the end of the episode, once again, I feel as though, even though initially when we heard about Frieza's return, a lot of us, including myself, were very skeptical and kind of like, why is he coming back? But it's just an interesting concept, I think, at this point, because of the reason he's returning and what is he doing upon return. But my gosh, the ending, it felt like they went a little bit of a DBZ route. It wasn't too long, but sometimes, and maybe it's just me, but sometimes the long transformations, once in a while, not all the time, because sometimes they got overbearing, but sometimes I liked in DBZ how they had those really long transformations. They got me really fucking hype, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's about to happen, hells yeah. So the Golden Frieza transformation, even though again it wasn't anywhere near, because DBZ sometimes it would be like 90% of an episode they would transform or whatever, but in this one when they had the nice long with the music and Frieza going golden form, I ain't gonna lie, that shit was hype, and I wish DBS would do that here and there more often. Again, don't go the complete DBZ route with just like, a whole episode of Frieza screaming or Goku screaming, but every once in a while it is a treat, especially the way they did it with him going from his normal form, or well, his fourth form, I guess you could say, to the golden form. It was sick as fuck. And then the final line he had, don't hold it against me, I was like, okay, I'm really on board with this whole Frieza return shit, because Frieza's being an evil piece of shit. He's on the side of good, so to speak, or whatever, but he's still an evil piece of shit, especially like you got a bunch of evil, like this is a interesting concept, because in a sense at this point, we're made to root for Frieza, which like, when have we ever really wanted to root for Frieza, you know what I'm saying? This is the first time we ever actually were put in a position where as the audience, as the viewers, we're like, okay, Frieza, you're badass right now. You're on fire, bro. Let's go. When normally we would be like, can somebody kill Frieza? Like, who's gonna kill Frieza? So it was really interesting the way they did that at the end. There was nice little Easter eggs here and there throughout the episode with little references back to different things. Like, for example, in case you didn't catch it, or if you haven't seen original Dragon Ball, when Roshi came, he came on that spinning turtle. If I'm not mistaken, that's the same one from Dragon Ball, where Roshi didn't really like to ride him because it would get him really dizzy. It was nice to see a little reference there back to Dragon Ball, and a lot of interesting stuff in this episode. But I think the biggest pieces was obviously, again, the end of the episode with Frieza's return, with a lot of cool stuff that happened, and we'll talk more about that in a second, but also getting to see the two gods of destruction plotting against Universe 7, Goku, Frieza, and whatnot, which, I ain't gonna lie, Universe 9, the more and more I look at them, they're pretty freaking crusty. And the reason I say that is because not only did they pretty much get bodied, let's be real here, Gohan got cheated in that match. Like, Gohan should have won. Like, pretty much Universe 7 pretty much bodied Universe 9, right? So they already got one big L. They already took a big L. But then on top of that, you got them being tricked by Quitella, I believe his name is, from Universe 4. Oh, I believe he's Universe 4, don't quote me or whatever, but the Tom and Jerry motherfucker, the little rat little dude, like, he even tricked Sidran saying, yeah, I got spies, and they told me that they're plotting, and obviously our warriors ain't plotting, so it's looking more and more like Universe 9, maybe you will be better off getting destroyed, because y'all too fucking dumb. It's like, all they had last time we checked, as far as, grouping up people, was, I believe, the trio, the Danger, they still couldn't get nobody. So you got a really weak squad, especially in comparison to what we're going to have in the tournament. You got a weak squad, you're stupid, your own god of destruction is dumb enough to get tricked by another god of destruction. It's like, Universe 9, what the fuck are you guys doing right now? Like, ooh, things ain't looking good for Universe 9 as far as just everything. It's like, how you getting tricked like that? I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a god of destruction, and we've seen, the Hakai from that motherfucker, so it's not completely like Sidra is just a piece of shit, but damn, bro, you letting this little rat motherfucker trick you? Like, what's going on there? Throughout the episode, we also had a lot of little interesting tidbits, a lot of little callbacks yet again, like what I was mentioning earlier, of course, with the turtle with Roshi, but then you also had the real cool, and I say real cool because it really felt like it, because if you remember correctly, if I'm not mistaken, one of the last, if not the last fights that 17 had was against Piccolo. So seeing the reunion between the two of them and seeing the development between the two of them, because if you remember correctly, last time they both met, Piccolo was kind of just angry and fighting left and right, and 17 was still on the side of, evil, so to speak. I mean, he wasn't really evil. He wasn't like, this is the 17 from Future Trunks' timeline, but he was not a good guy. So to see them come around this time around, shake hands, Piccolo taking off the turban and shit like that, at first I was like, yo, are they about to throw some hands? I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit excited for that, but then when they just shook hands, I was like, that's development. That's development, that's growth, that's change, that showcases time has passed. Quite a bit of time, actually, since their first initial encounter or their last encounter before Cell came and was like, hey, get in my belly, to 17. So it was kind of like, that's good shit there. And I mean, I think 17, which by the way, just gotta mention this, I really want to commend, even though I love the English voice actor for 17, Chuck Huber, I gotta commend the Japanese as well. There's something about his voice when he plays 17 in the Japanese version that is just like, it has that really dead, you know, like, don't give a fuck voice to it, but then at the same time it's not like robotic or anything like that, so he really fucking nails it. But just the interactions with like having Krillin and 18 and Marin and 17 and shit like that, and Krillin trying desperately, like, it seems as though maybe 17 and 18 have spoke. I don't know if Krillin's seen him since what happened to him back in the day, because it was kind of like he was still remembering 17 as being the same dude that, you know, was kind of evil back in the day. So I'm wondering, did Krillin never see 17 since what happened at the end of the Cell arc, or in between the Cell arc and whatnot? That's kind of crazy, because you would think, hey, that's the bro-in-law, maybe, you know, we would have seen once in a while. And then 17 still being in character, because at the end of the day, yeah, he's not evil and he's not trying to kill people anymore, but he's still kind of a bit of an asshole. So when he declined, he's like, nope, to Krillin's invitation for the food, is like, he's still in character. And I like that when you can write a character and show that they've changed, but at the same time the core elements of who they are still intact. That's some good shit there. I was kind of curious though, when 18 was saying about Marin's name and 17 was kind of mispronouncing it or whatever, was the Marin name the reason why she was getting pissed, just because, like, don't mispronounce my daughter's name? Or was that a reference to the filler arc, the Garlic Jr. saga, when Krillin had that girlfriend named Marin and she got pissed because of that? If that's the case, that is great. Even though Garlic Jr. is technically filler or whatnot, that one little thing right there for Krillin as a character, which, you know, DBZ rarely gave some really good shit to Krillin. It was here and there, but most of the time he was getting bodied. But that was really good development for Krillin as a person and as a character, not just like, you know, fighting wise or technique wise. That gave growth to him, because you see he wanted a woman, and it kind of was an ongoing theme about Krillin trying to find some love. So the fact that they did that, I'm not sure again if that was just because she didn't want him mispronouncing the name, or it was a reference back to Krillin having an old girlfriend that was named Marin as well. Either way, or it could just be a Japanese joke that I just don't understand. So there's that as well. But if that was, that's a really cool reference as well. And again, Dragon Ball Super been doing pretty cool references. We got a little bit of Roshi training in here, and I gotta say this, right? And I know there's gonna be people that disagree with me, because the meme is funnier than the actual truth. You know, people rather run with the meme and say, hey, you know, it's so funny, than what's actually legit and true. And the truth is, being 100% honest, is that Roshi, or shall I say Yamcha, is a better, you know, replacement for Roshi. Let's be real here. Strength-wise, power-wise, yes, Roshi has the speed, but Yamcha also has experience as well. Yamcha's been through some shit. Yamcha died, and he's gotten his ass whipped, but he's had experience too. So to use the excuse that you used against Goten and Trunks that they lack experience, you can't really use that against Yamcha, because Yamcha's been fighting since, you know, the Dragon Ball days. You know, he's been through a lot of things. So personally, you know, Roshi, we saw him training and whatnot, but like, I really feel as though, jokes aside, and, you know, really fuck Yamcha at the end of the day, but Yamcha really would be better than Roshi. He has the experience, he's strong. Like, what is Yamcha's strength at this point? He's obviously not as strong as, like, base form Frieza back in the day, but I'm assuming he's around, like, what, maybe like the Ginyu Force or something like that. And that's way more than Roshi that isn't even on Raditz's level. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're going to have people that are God of Destruction tier out there. How the fuck is Roshi going to be able to compete with that, regardless of what techniques he uses? But it was cool and a nice treat again, which I feel as though the people that are working on the script, you know, aside from Toriyama's original draft, but, you know, the point A to point B motherfuckers, they really love Dragon Ball, because they keep on going back to little times, and like Roshi mentions about how he used to train there at Korin's Tower, and, you know, he's using the Mafuba. Well, it looked like the Mafuba technique. It was a different one, but he also said he could use the Mafuba. They really love Dragon Ball, because they constantly bring references back. Even in the Goku Black arc, they constantly reference back to Dragon Ball, and I love that shit, because in case you don't know and you've never seen it, original Dragon Ball is awesome and arguably better than DBZ. Yeah, you know, I said that. Personally, I think it's better than DBZ, but, you know, we'll for all intents and purposes say arguably, so people don't, oh my god. And, you know, the little conversation with Roshi and Korin, it seems as though Roshi's really taking this serious, which is good, because if he just went in there like, hey, if there's a pair of tits, I might grab them, I would have been like, Are you fucking kidding me? So the fact that he's taking this serious, I mean, yes, he doesn't have the strength. In reality, Krillin is a god to Roshi at this point, strength-wise and whatnot. But maybe with the strategy and this Mafuba-esque technique, as well as using the Mafuba technique, maybe he could get some work done. And then again, you know, every warrior in every universe isn't going to be astronomically strong. So maybe more of the weaker ones, Roshi will be able to take them out and do something tricky or sneaky or something like that. You never know. And then towards the end of the episode, because we gotta talk about the end, when Frieza was revived by Baba, and he starts off with a punch to Goku's gut, and I'm thinking, yes, because I said, even though I was against Frieza returning at first, I did not want him to come and put his arm around Goku and say, hey, let's have a couple of sandwiches and talk about the old time. Like, no, I want him to still be the same cunt. And the fact that Goku returned the favor and gave him a blow as well, I was like, alright, Goku, I see you. I feel as though Dragon Ball Super, and maybe it's the way they're writing the narrative, maybe it's the way they're writing the characters, it's introduced a different side of Goku that maybe was more present in the manga. I really don't know. I've only read bits and pieces of the manga. I'm an anime only guy. Oh my god, you're fake right now. Shut the fuck up. You know, I really feel as though it's just a different side of Goku. I mean, even throughout the episode, yet again, he's caught on his shit and he's trying to lie about the reason Frieza came back and shit like that. You see a different side of Goku. He's kind of lying more. He's being really sneaky about shit. You know, then Frieza, he hits him. He's like, oh, I'm going to hit him back. It's like, it feels like really there's a different Goku here. And it's not completely different, but it's a different side of him. I don't know if it's just the edge of the tournament and what could happen that really has him doing anything and everything he possibly can, because he knows to a very small degree he is to blame for some of this. I mean, Zeno was going to destroy shit anyways. Goku gave them a fighting chance, but the reason they got to get into this tournament is because of Goku in the first place, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a give and take, and I think that's a big reason why Goku's doing everything that he's doing. Really quickly, got to mention the funniest thing of the episode, hands fucking down, was Frieza's drawing, which said Frieza, which I'm imagining that people are going to rage. Oh, that's not how it's spelled, when that's actually how it's spelled, but that's neither here nor there. And Vegeta having to lie and defend Frieza for little Trunks' sake. Like, yeah, you know, he's turned over a new leaf. I was like, oh my god. And that's once again an example of Vegeta's development from the old days to who he is now as a character. It's like, he'll do these silly things from time to time, and I like that. I think, you know, some people really fucking hate that shit. They like, where's the badass Vegeta? But he's a father. He has 2 kids now. He's not the same guy that he was, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. He's changed, and moments like that show it. As a whole, the episode, it was a decent episode. I think the end of the episode really took it off. I liked a lot of the references. I liked the setup, but again, it was essentially just set up, and oh, Frieza's here, and we have Pakun from Naruto getting ready to attack, and Frieza, you know, obliterates him. It was like really cool ending, awesome way to lead into the next episode, and a couple of really cool things in there, but essentially a lot of the episode was once again just kind of set up, and hey, look at Goku eat. Hey, Goten and Trunks about to protect the island, which, by the way, bad parenting. Why the fuck are you leaving that little girl Marin in the care of Goten and Trunks while you go fight a universal war? I'm just saying, I don't know, 18 and Krillin, like, yo, check your parenting skills. So, as a whole, it was a good episode. I want to say probably fine to a good. It had good setup, and the ending of the episode really stole the show. Really curious what you guys think about this episode, though. What did you think about Frieza's immaculate return with the golden form? How did you feel about him killing motherfuckers left and right? What do you think about him and Goku having a little team up right there? And your thoughts of the episode as a whole. And my thing that I brought up, which is kind of relevant, do you think that Yamcha, realistically, memes aside, jokes aside, is better than Roshi? Personally, I gotta say, it's the truth. Roshi has experience. Yamcha also has some experience. And Yamcha, he's Ginyu level, I want to say. So, yeah, your raw thoughts of the episode. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.